Okay, so we have a video here about what professional software engineers actually do. I have no idea what to expect here. It is actually a question that I had a long time ago, obviously when I wasn't working as a software engineer. And the thing is, even nowadays, there are a lot of things that a software engineer can do. It's not limited to one thing at all. There is a lot of diversity. So I'm interested to actually seeing what he's going to say about this. Hopefully it's a nice video. I think it's something that a lot of people actually wonder. What does a software engineer actually do?
Now I know my audience, y'all, are aspiring software developers or current software developers, so I know you've come across a video titled A Day in the Life of a Software Engineer. YouTube is absolutely plastered with them.
I did actually watch a lot of these back then. I'm not sure if there are that many nowadays. A Day in the Life of a Software Engineer. Obviously, those videos are they are nice, they're entertaining, but they don't really show you anything about the life of a software engineer. It's just like glamour, and everything looks nice, and you get 300k a year salary, and it's like, yeah, I would like to do that, but it doesn't show anything about what software engineers actually do. And it's starting here already, schedule eating. Yeah, I agree. Let's see what comes out of it.
Typing, eating, meeting, eating. I don't know why they eat so much, but I've made my fair share of day in the life of a software engineer, even day in the life of a computer science student. And plenty of others have done the same as what I tried to do and showed you the actual day and some of the actual work of a software engineer instead of just what is being done. Just typing is a lot different than the actual work that is getting done as a software engineer. But regardless of what they showed you, every single one had something in common, and that is this. They're all taking place inside at a computer. And that is the first realization I want you to make. As a software engineer, for most of your life, you're going to be inside sitting at a computer. Now, personally, I don't see that being most suitable for most humans. I think we weren't made to be sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. So just out the gate, if that's something that doesn't sound too appetizing to you, then you may want to take a deeper look into the potential career path.
The thing is, this is not limited to software developers at all. A lot of jobs actually is pretty much sitting behind a computer. It's not limited to this job at all. So I don't know about it. I do agree that you spend a lot of time behind a computer, but you can do other hobbies and so on. It depends on the people, obviously. Some people don't mind it, some people will mind it. So yeah, but those people that mind it probably are not going to try and learn how to code anyway. So I don't know.
That you're currently looking at as a software engineer. And that's what we're doing in this video, looking at the hard truths of being a software engineer, what it takes, and not just the highlight reel. So let's get started.
Coffee time.
Most of the experiences you see are from software engineers on YouTube sharing their day, but that is a biased point of view. They're entertainers. They want you to watch the entire video. Think about it. It is a lot easier to sit down and watch an hour-long movie that has been directed and filmed and has a story throughout, rather than sitting down and watching an hour-long lecture. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
And people who want to share their experience want you to be captivated by their day. They want you to watch the video as long as they can get you to watch the video. Because the whole idea with a lot of these channels, especially on YouTube, whether it be software engineer or not, the whole idea is for them or for you to forget about the entire outside world and focus on their video, watch their video in its entirety, be consumed by it, be entertained by it. And well, that is the main goal. Whether it is helping you out or educating you, that is the goal. I only bring this up because it's a highlight reel at best or misinforming you at worst. So don't look at these videos and think that's exactly how it is, because you can't see into the minds of these individuals. They aren't just typing aimlessly on a keyboard. They're deep in thought trying to figure out the solution to the task at hand and then doing research and implementing that solution in code. And in their meetings, they're not just shooting the breeze with the coworkers. They're being told that the entire week's worth of work before is completely worthless because the client decided to go another route and they don't want that feature implemented anymore. Or you're being told that your task was done incorrectly, so now you have to redo it, and those meetings are never fun.
It is true that a lot of these things happen, and a lot of software developers do spend a lot of time doing things that are not what is asked of them, or they don't interpret the things properly at all, and they end up with something that is not what is wanted. So yeah, it's not wrong what he's saying. I've seen a lot of these cases. A previous coworker that I had, he was always saying like they're never happy with whatever I give them, and there were reasons for that, by the way. And it's like it is what it is. But many times these things are on the software developers side of things. It's not so much on the other side. Like, you can always talk with those people and ask them exactly what they want, and you can have a conversation with them and ask, is this the way that you would actually like these things? Does this make sense to you? And so on and so on. But many times software developers also think that they know how to do it best, and they try to do things their own way, and it doesn't always go the way that they would want. So yeah, I do agree with what he's saying. Sometimes, obviously, no, it is not for every meeting. Many meetings are about a lot of different things. Like, it could be about creating a new feature, could be about these things, about you did everything wrong, but it could also be like, yeah, we need to do this thing and so on, and there is this new project that we would need to that we would like to go with. There is like, we would like to do a migration of this app. How should we do it? Sometimes it's just people talking about, we have this issue overall. Should we just continue doing whatever we are doing? Should we, update how we use, this and that? So there is a lot of different things that can happen in a meeting.
But, it's not all bad. Sometimes you are just shooting the breeze with your coworkers and discussing what to do next. And plenty of the things that I mentioned in this video may be seen as negative or whatever it may be, or it may appear that I'm trying to discourage some individuals from becoming software engineers. No, I'm trying to show you the reality of what it's like to be a software engineer, not just the good things. So if I do focus on things that are a little bit more negative, don't see that the majority of the job is negative. I'm just trying to counteract all of the positive and all of the good things, the highlight reel that people are putting out there, but neglecting to do so for the bad thing. Because you need to understand that in any job, especially this job, there's a give and a take, good and bad. Which brings us to the everlasting question, especially staying on topic when it comes to software engineering YouTubers like myself. I'm not calling anyone out in particular. I am a software engineer and computer science YouTuber just like everyone else, and I made the same videos. Because the everlasting question really contradicts how a lot of these people portray their day as being always good, always positive, always fun. But most of these YouTubers who display it like that end up quitting their full-time software engineering job to do YouTube full-time. Well, if it is all butterflies and rainbows on the software engineering side of that, then why do they quit that job? I know why. I've done it. But for me, it may be a little bit different than most. So I've always wanted to work for myself. If I never discovered YouTube, I'd probably be freelancing. So for me, it wasn't always about what I was doing, as long as I could do something that I enjoyed and work for myself. Many of these individuals probably shared the same sentiment. After all, they did start a YouTube channel for a reason. That reason could be because they thought it was fun, because they wanted to help people out, or because they saw it leading to their financial freedom. Whatever it may be, they saw this as being part of their future. But also, because if they truly enjoyed coding, this was a way for them to make a living, but also be able to work on their own projects. Which brings me to one of the biggest points of this video, which I feel like people never talk about. That is, working as a professional software engineer is working for someone else's company, working on someone else's idea. You may love the idea, you may love working on that app, but you never have the final say on what features are implemented, or even exactly how it looks, or the overall growth of the company and where that app will be in 5 years.
This is true. Everything he said is actually true, and it all depends on how you take it. But yeah, if you take it as you're there to help other people, get things done, and, doing the way that they want things to be done, then it's totally fine. But if you actually think that things should be done your own way, then you're in the wrong place, because you are not the boss and you don't decide how these things actually, like the outcome, like how things look. If the boss says, I don't want the button there, I want it somewhere else, you will have to do that. because you don't have the final say on the things. You're there to just, make what they want a reality.
For lack of a better term, you're very much a code monkey, being told what to do and how to do it with very little creative freedom. Some creative freedom, but very little. I personally can't work that way, but for some people, that may be their cup of tea. You need that direction. You need that structure. So this may be perfect for you. I know people who thrive on not completing the overall idea or worrying about the overall app, but solving the task at hand. Each individual task is like a new challenge for them, and that is what gets them going in the morning. They know that they get to work on this task, and that task.
Yeah, I agree. There is a lot of people like this, and yeah, totally fine.
They don't have to worry about the growth of the company or the growth of the app or the user interface.
But they also don't need to worry about, is there money in the end of the month? Because when you work for yourself, obviously you need to be worried about all these things, like, do I have enough money in the end of the month? But they know they have a paycheck in the end of the month, and that's very important as well. Like, they don't need to care about anything else. They have, this peace of mind that is also very important. They do their own job, and if they are happy with it, that's all that matters, right?
They are a back-end developer, and all they have to worry about are these tasks today. And that's basically it. There really is a luxury in that if you are wired that way. But if you are someone who got into development because you wanted to create your own apps, you wanted to make your ideas a reality, then it gets a little bit dicey there. But to sum it all up, many people get into coding to make their ideas a reality. It starts off as a hobby, but it becomes a job once you make it your job. The old adage says, do what you enjoy and you'll never work a day in your life, but making something your job that you do enjoy will oftentimes take the enjoyment out of it. So what is an actual day in the life of a software engineer? Well, this will vary from company to company, team to team, person to person, but the overall structure is typically the same. You have stand-up about every day. This is when you get together with your team. You talk about what you did since the last stand-up, any roadblocks that you're facing, and what you plan to do next. Now, when you accomplish everything that you set out to do the day before, your confidence is through the roof. You're a genius programmer, and you just want to tell everyone what you did in that stand-up, and you love it. However, there's a flip side to this coin. If you spent the entire previous day working on a 2-hour task and still maybe haven't even figured it out, well, then you just feel bad? No, bad doesn't really begin to describe it. You begin to maybe get a little bit anxious. You're very stressed out. You feel incompetent because you're the developer being paid to do a particular job and complete this particular task. And it says it was estimated to be completed in 2 hours, and you spent 6 hours doing it the day before and you still haven't even completed it. It's like if you have to present something in front of the entire class that you know you didn't do, and the whole entire class knows you failed, but at work, you're not only worried about what your classmates think of you, or your teacher thinks of you, or your grade, but the stability of your job, your livelihood. I mean,
yeah, I think that is 100% correct. Although I have never experienced this because I've never had stand-ups and stuff like that. But I do agree 100% with what he's saying, and a lot of people probably feel this way because if they didn't actually do their tasks or anything like that, they will probably not feel very good. And I think it is exactly the way that he says, like when you were in school and you need to, present stuff in front of the class and everything, and you didn't actually do the homework or anything like that. I think it's probably that feeling. I think I've been very lucky so far, never having to actually experience this. I never had to do stand-ups and so on, but I know that most companies do stand-ups, and it's very, very common.
You tried, but you just couldn't successfully complete the task. It is an incredibly stressful feeling that I hated every second of when that would happen to me. And honestly, it could just be because I felt like my team were genius programmers. I mean, in their defense, they kind of were. They had 20 years experience each under their belt. So yeah, needless to say, I was a little bit intimidated by them, even though they were incredibly nice and helped me out. Even with those traits, I still felt that way. With that being said, I couldn't even begin to think about having a boss or a team that just is mean or opposite of that. That would suck. Don't go in expecting that you're going to be coding for 8 hours a day. Typically, what your team should expect is around 6. Now, if you've seen my video, how long I code a day, you will see that I'm typically burnt out around 4 hours. So an extra 2 is a lot to handle, but it also depends on the work at hand. I've spent 8-10 hours almost straight. You know, I have to eat and go to the bathroom and stuff, but basically almost straight coding. And when I say coding, that is basically by the definition that I laid out in that video, how long I code a day. And that is including everything from research to actually typing out your code. But that's when I'm working on something simple or fairly straightforward, something that's already been laid out. But when you have to figure out how to code something that has never been done in your language, in your stack, in your context, well, then it makes things quite a bit more difficult. More brain power is needed to figure out the logic. You have to figure out how to use it in your language, with your stack, in your context.
I personally don't get a lot of meetings. Most of the time it's like I may get one a week kind of thing. It depends a lot on what projects I'm doing and so on, but I often go full weeks without having meetings, which is great. Most of the time is actually coding and, you know, figuring out how to do things and so on. So yeah, I do spend a lot of hours coding, and I don't mind doing 8 hours of coding a day. It's totally fine with me. I can do that. But there are days that my brain is just not working the same as the other days, and I'm not being as productive, so I may end up doing a lot less. Yeah. When it's like that, I tend to just go and do something else. So I don't actually go and code. But those days are rare, but they do happen, yeah.
And the more brain power you use, the more energy you use, and the quicker you get burnt out. I don't mean burnt out in how you've been hearing it a lot lately, but just on that day, more brain power is needed to figure out the logic and to implement it in your language, using your stack and in your exact context. And the more brain power you use, the more drained you get, and you're just tired. And I've found a fine balance of being able to figure out when I'm at my wit's end for that day. If I'm working on something a little bit more difficult, then maybe I'm in there 3 to 4 hours. Don't need to worry about anything else at hand that needs to be done. I'll save that for another day. But if I want to relax and I want to do a little bit easier work and nothing too mentally draining, then I can do that too, and I can work as long as I want on my own projects. But when you're at work, you're expected to do 6 hours a day, give or take, whatever your company wants you to do. If you have to do more, then the Lord help you. It's like all coding work is treated equally when it's not equal. Some tasks are a lot easier than others, but if you have a lot of difficult tasks to do one day, it's hard to hit 6 hours of coding on difficult tasks. That is one of the downfalls when it comes to working in a professional environment. And that's the entire premise of what I wanted to discuss here in today's video. Not to bring anyone away from being a software engineer, but rather show you some of the realities that others do not. On the outside, you see typing, you see this wonderful app that they created, but you never see what goes on in the meetings. You never see what goes on in their heads when they're actually doing this work, and the difficulty of it, and the nuances and differences of working as a professional developer than just as a hobby developer. I hope you learned something from today's video, but more so, I hope you give it a little bit more thought into the potential career that you're looking at based on the reality of it and not how it's portrayed. It's a fun job at times.
I don't know about that one, because until you actually experience these things, I don't think you can understand them. So, and it will be very different for a lot of people. I'm sure that there are people that have a lot worse situations than, you know, what was mentioned here. So again, according to him, he had a very good team. So that's really nice. But there are teams that are not nice at all, and it's really not nice to work with them. So yeah, there are people with a lot worse situations than this, and there are people with a lot better situations. Like myself, I never had to do stand-ups. Usually I don't have meetings. I can go weeks without having meetings and so on. And if I need to have a meeting, I just, we just set up something and we talk about stuff. But I had a lot of freedom to do the things that I want to do and however I want to do and stuff like that. And they trusted me enough to just let me do the thing. And whenever I need something, we talk, or, every now and then we do a checkup on how things are going. But yeah, I think I had a pretty good setup going compared to many people. So yeah, it depends a lot on, you know, the company, your team, and, you know, all this kind of stuff.
But it feels like it can be the worst job too. Let me know
I do think that a lot of the things that he said are pretty true for a lot of people, though.
if you've had a similar experience in the field, or if you've had a different experience in the field, completely opposite of how I feel, because at the end of the day, this is just one man's opinion, one man's view and experiences that I'm sharing, and that's mine. I can't really speak from anybody else's point of view, so I'd love to hear some of y'all current software developers on y'all's experience, what you agree with, what you disagree with, down in the comment section
Well, that's what I did, just not on the comments.
below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and enjoy yourself some Icy Puck coffee from Commenteer.
I think it
And I'll
was a
see you
good
on the
video.
next
It did. I do think that it was a good video. It did talk about, you know, plenty of things that a lot of people go through on a daily basis as a software engineer. It wasn't very specific on what a software engineer actually do, as in, like I said in the very start of the video, there are a lot of things that software developers do, but he did. I think that his summary of, you know, a day in the life on the other side, it's actually pretty accurate for a lot of people. Not my case, but I can see it. I can see a lot of these things happening, and I have seen it, you know, like around me. I think it was a good video overall, and if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.